Bless you.
Good evening, all. I'd like to welcome you to the Village Council meeting of Monday, April 22nd, 2019. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Milovich Walker. Present. Commissioner Reed.
Present.
Commissioner Pope.
Yep.
Commissioner Narvaez. Mayor Mahoney.
Here, thank you. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have in your packets this evening a draft of the minutes from our previous meeting on April 8th. Any questions or comments regarding those draft minutes? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to approve said minutes. Hearing a motion in a second, would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Pope.
Yep.
Commissioner Milovich Walters.
Yes.
Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes, thank you. I have a number of proclamations. And am I thinking that I'm reading all these pronouncements, or can I just proclaim and pronounce?
Proclaim away.
I'd like to proclaim. So the first proclamation is for Municipal Clerks Week. That's May 5th through 11th, 2019. The second is to proclaim Public Works Week, May 19th through 25th. And the third is to proclaim May 2019 Building Safety Month. And finally, to proclaim May 2019 Motorcycle Awareness Month. And I assume we don't have to call the roll, we're just proclaiming away. A very busy month, so keep those proclamations in mind. Hearings. This evening, we have a public hearing to consider the proposed budget ordinance for fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2019, and ending April 30th, 2020, in the amount of $8,687,404. So, prior to the final action of the budget, the corporate authority shall hold at least one public hearing on the tentative annual budget, which we are conducting at this time. Tentative budget was made available for public inspection 10 days ago. Notice of this hearing was published in the regional newspaper on April 11, 2019. Maisie Eric, our finance director for the village, will now give a brief presentation of the upcoming fiscal year 2020 budget. Thank you, Barb.
It is my pleasure to present the fiscal year 2020 budget for the Village of Palos Park. I would first like to start out by explaining how important the annual budget is and the important role it plays for the Village of Palos Park. First, the budget serves as a financial plan. It summarizes the fiscal operations of the village. Second, the budget is a management tool. It's like a blueprint to control expenses. Third, the budget is a communications device. It explains how our tax dollars are being spent. And fourth and final, the budget is the main policy document of the village, for it explains the services that the village will provide. This slide is a quick summary of the revenue for fiscal year 2020 in the general fund. The general fund is the single largest operating fund of the village, and revenue is projected to be $4,764,861 in fiscal year 2020. This slide is the summary of the revenue that is recorded in the administration department in the general fund. Some of those revenues include property taxes, sales taxes, utility taxes, income taxes, and various other sources of revenue. Revenue is projected to be $4,128,611 for fiscal year 2020. This is a 3.42% increase over the current fiscal year. This slide is a summary of the general fund expenditures projected for fiscal year 2020. Total general fund expenditures are expected to be $4,749,790. This is a 3.87% increase over the expenses in this current fiscal year. Department directors did another fabulous job of helping me balance this budget so we can achieve a surplus for fiscal year 2020. So I thank you for all your efforts. Okay, this slide is a category, this graph breaks down the general fund expenditures by category. As you can see on the left, the salaries and benefit account for a majority of the expenses in the general fund. The contractual category consists of legal fees, auditing services, professional development, and other contractual services. The commodities category includes costs for like computers, office supplies, phone expenses, printing, and general supplies for the village. In this fiscal year, we actually have budgeted $75,000 for capital improvements, which will include an HVAC control panel for this building and some brick pavers for the portico around the village green. So that's exciting news because we haven't done that too much in capital improvements in prior years. All right, this slide shows all the funds for the village for fiscal year 2020. Total projected revenue for all the funds is expected to be $8,694,322. The total projected expenses for fiscal year 2020 will be $8,687,404, which creates, again, a surplus in all the funds. So a couple of the funds have deficits as compared to revenues coming in. Sewer, water, and the commuter lot will have a reduction in the reserves that they have, but they still maintain a nice ending fiscal balance. So at the close of fiscal year 2020, the ending fund balance is projected to be $9,129,995. And please keep in mind, I am estimating those beginning balances and the ending balances because we haven't closed the fiscal year out, so those are just estimates. That concludes my portion. If there are any questions, I can address them now.
Anyone have any questions regarding the budget? Anyone from the audience like to address a question regarding the budget?
I was just going to say thank you to Barb and to my department heads, making it easy to understand and help us figure out what we can afford to do and make sure that we also have a surplus at the end, so we're never surprised, without having money for emergencies and things like that. So thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you, department heads.
I guess the comments that I have, not a question, but once again, to reiterate what the commissioner said, we've been doing this for a little while, and I'm always impressed at how you are able to adjust the various portions that comprise a budget to ensure that we have a surplus. This is not just taking a pencil and writing stuff down. This actually takes work. And I appreciate the effort and the work that you put into this on a continual basis under the stewardship of Rick Bain and the department heads.
Absolutely.
It's worked out perfectly, so thank you.
Yes, it's a group effort, not just me. It's a group effort to achieve that surplus. So,
Well, thank you very much, Barb. If there are no further questions, we will now close the public hearing portion of the meeting, and we'll take this up for the Finance Department agenda item. Consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine or have been brought forward at the direction of the Board of Commissioners and will be enacted with one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item A, to pass a resolution to close a portion of McCarthy Road for the annual parade to be held on Saturday, September 21st, 2019. The resolution states the parade on September 21st, 2019 will require the closing of McCarthy Road from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., and said village will assume full responsibility for the direction, protection, and regulation of traffic during the time the detour is in effect. Item B, to approve the update recertification of authorized individuals that may review and request confidential information and remittance reports for calendar year 2019 as required by the reciprocal agreements on exchange of information with the Illinois Department of Revenue. Item C, to approve payment of invoices on the warrant list dated April 22nd, 2019 in the amount of $115,073.46. D, to approve the Village of Palos Park's intent to participate in the Cook County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan, HMP. That's an item that's moved from 10C to up your agenda. So, way I can press it. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Hearing a motion in the second, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Milovich Walters?
Yes.
Commissioner Polk?
Yep.
Mayor Mahoney?
Yes, thank you. Any items of old business to be brought before the council at this time? Hearing none, and we have no board, commission, and committee recommendations this evening, so I'm going to move to information updates, Public Works and Streets Recreation Report. Commissioner Milovich Walters.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Just one item on the agenda. It's regarding rebuilding a sewage pump for the Romiga lift station. In early April, we had a problem with one of the sewage pumps at the Romiga sanitary lift station. The pump could not be repaired, so we installed a spare pump that was stored at Metropolitan Pump. Over the last few years, rather than buying new pumps at the cost of $15,000 to $25,000, the Public Works Department has had the existing pumps rebuilt. The cost to do that is usually between $4,000 and $6,000, depending on the parts needed. The rebuilt pump wears as well as a new pump with a 90-day warranty. In this way, there is a spare for each lift station ready to be installed. So, anybody have any questions? Because what we're looking to do is to approve the proposal submitted by Metropolitan Pump to rebuild a sewage pump for Romiga lift station at the cost of $5,785. I'd like to make a motion for that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing a motion and a second, no further questions. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Milovich Walters? Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Polk?
Yep.
Mayor Mahoney?
Yes, thank you.
I just have a couple of announcements. Chipping service will be the week of May 6th, so please do not place your branches in the right of way until the weekend before. The chipper will start on the west end of the village and move east until all the streets have been serviced. A list of rules and regulations is available on the website. If you click the drop-down menu under the Public Works Department, you will see all the rules. Basically cut end out, don't stick them in the street, and no longer than 4 feet long. No buckthorn, nothing like that. The water tower at 123rd Street and LaGrange Road that stores some of our water will be repainted over the next 4 to 5 weeks depending on the weather. So if you see stuff going on there, that's what's going on. Public Works Department is seeking a candidate for full-time employment with the street division. Need to have a CDL license and within 6 months, and experience with the street operations is preferred. If you're interested, please call the Village Hall and ask for the Public Works Department. Also, all RPZ valves should be tested before September 30th. If you have an automatic sprinkling system, remember to schedule that testing at the starting of your service for the season. And that concludes all my announcements and my report.
Thank you very much. Building and public property. Commissioner Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. If you hire landscapers to work on your house this spring and summer, please remember that they need to be registered with the village. The 2-page contractor registration form is to be filled out. A certificate of insurance must also be submitted, as well as the registration fee being paid. Thank you for registering to work in the village. For all of you that have done so, for those that have not, we urge you to do so. If you need assistance with the contractor registration process, call 708-671-3733. The building department processed 28 permits from April 3rd through April 19th, resulting in $12,873 of permit fees. 20 sewer inspections were completed during the aforementioned time period. Madam Director, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. Before I turn it back over to the mayor, I'd like to make a personal comment. I am humbled and honored that I and my colleagues were given a chance to continue our work on behalf of the village residents. It is a labor of love, and we appreciate the fact that you all had enough support in us to allow us to continue to do the people's business. To all of those who did vote for us, thank you. For all of those who did not, we just have to work extra hard to make sure that we can get your vote the next time around. Thank you. That's all my report, sir.
Thank you. Well said. Public Health and Safety Report.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. I'm going to start with the monthly police activity report, which is actually bi-weekly. This includes the activity from the 8th April to 21st of April, the year of our Lord 2019. We had 1,571 calls for service, so we keep gradually increasing the number of calls that we see. Wrote 22 adjudication tickets and an additional 8 traffic tickets, provided 31 written warnings and an additional 35 verbal warnings. Don't do that. Took 24 case reports, arrested 2 adults, fortunately no juveniles, impounded 1 vehicle, performed 50 senior checks, an additional 36 citizen assists, and 11 community contact hours. So that's what the Palos Park Police Department has been doing. I'm going to step to the podium real quick because I have someone I'd like to introduce, and I'd like to have him stand up with me. And Chief, would you join us, please? You know it was you, didn't you? Come on by, guys.
I know he said, come on, you play, come on.
Yeah. Here, wait, let me move this so that I can be on the same level as you guys, if I can aspire to that. So move closer so the TV cameras can find you. So it's my pleasure to make the following statement, that the role of the police chaplain has been vacant since Pastor Hensley Lane left Palos Park and the police department in June of 2010 for his assignment at St. Margaret's in Palm Desert. Since the inception of the Palos Park Police Department chaplain program in 2008, we've worked with and met many individuals qualified to serve the men and women of the Palos Park Police Department in the role of chaplain. Over the last few months, we've been working with Chicago Heights Police Juvenile Officer Chaplain Ronnie White regarding the framework of what a police chaplain program should look like. Chaplain White has been there as a guide to our program since its inception. Today I'm honored to ask him to serve as our Palos Park Police Chaplain and ambassador from the park to the religious community in the area. Reverend Wright is well qualified. He serves as the incoming president for the National Police Chaplains Association, as well as board member of Prairie State College. Having been elected to the Board of Trustees in April of 2015, he's an assistant pastor for New Hope Baptist Church in Chicago Heights and a clinician with Psy-Synergy Psychological Services in Harvey. He's a United States Air Force veteran. Mr. White has a bachelor's and a master's degree in theology, a doctor of ministry, and a doctor of philosophy. He's got more doctors than I do, from the L. Hardy Academy of Theology in Seattle, Washington. Among his professional memberships, he serves on the board of directors for the South Suburban Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse in East Hazel Prison, is the Assistant National Director of Hope Consortium of Pastoral Care and Mental Health Care Providers in Chicago, and an Associate Professor in the Pastoral Counseling Department for the Hope Bible Institute and Seminary in Chicago. Reverend White, we welcome you as the Palos Park Police Department Chaplain.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks for your service.
I'm truly humbled by the kind words that have been expressed, and will do my best to continue to be a servant who I am. Been in the ministry now 30 years, been a police chaplain 24 years. Currently do serve as the Vice President for the International Conference of Police Chaplains, and it is projected in July that I will be elected President-elect. So I'm truly humbled and honored, and it's been great to work with Chief Miller over the last several years. I've known him for a long time, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity to serve.
We're thankful for your acceptance. Welcome.
Thank you.
And
Thank
Chief
you.
Miller, I just gotta say, I don't understand how you keep finding these excellent candidates and roping them into this at a pay level, which is just remarkable. So again, thanks for your assistance in us being able to have a viable police chaplaincy program again. And thanks for all who helped out during the search and during the time that we were left without one. So thank you all very much. Take care, team.
Thank you. Mayor, may I approach you guys?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you. Pleasure.
Get another one? Thank you.
Sir, thanks. Hope I got enough already out.
And welcome. You have two different cards. If Chief needs it, he can.
I got it.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I'm on 24/7 with the chief.
Thank you.
Reverend White, you're welcome to stay, but you're a busy guy. I'm sure that there are people out there that you could save while we go through the rest of it.
And you know what, Mayor, I was really happy to hear that May 19th is Motorcycle Awareness. I ride, so don't be alarmed when you see me. I probably won't be in my suit the next
Be
time.
safe and watch for Pastor White on the roads. That's one of the reasons we call attention to Motorcycle Awareness Week is, especially now, people are riding, it's beautiful weather.
Sure.
Keep an eye out.
Matter of fact, I plan to ride to Springfield next week for the State Police Memorial, so keep it some prayer.
Thank you.
Keep the rubber on this.
And welcome.
I'm going to continue really quickly here. April is also Child Abuse Prevention Month, designated by the National Child Abuse Prevention, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Studies continue to show that while many parents believe the major risk of child sexual abuse involves strangers, in reality, up to 90% of abuse cases are committed by someone known and trusted by the victim and the family. So there are pretty reasonable data to suggest that when parents demonstrate 6 protective factors, the risk for neglect and abuse diminishes and the optimal outcomes for children and their families are promoted. These 6 factors are nurturing and attachment, knowledge of parenting and of child development, parental resilience, I practice that every day, social connections, support for parents, and emotional and developmental well-being of both the child and the parents. So April's a time to celebrate the important role the communities play in protecting our children. I'd like to remind you that everyone's participation is critical. Focusing on ways to build and promote these 6 protective factors in every interaction is the best thing that our community can do to prevent child maltreatment and promote optimal child development. So, April. A couple other quick announcements. The mayor and the village are pleased to announce that the police will have members of the Palos Park Police Department on the park leg of the Cal-Sag Trail to serve as community ambassadors. So we did this last year. It was pretty well received. We like to have a presence out there, and we just kind of remind people of a couple of quick things. The first is safety and trail etiquette. So remember, the trails are shared public space. Safety and courtesy make for a positive trail experience for everyone. So please, you're using the trail, respect the people that are around you. Then some quick safety tips. I'll just hit some of the highlights. Stop and look and listen for motor traffic before you proceed across the road. The trail crosses many roads, some of them quite busy. So while bikers do have the right of way, it's a losing proposition if you care to demonstrate your right while you're riding in front of a moving car. We pass people on the left, so faster trail users should pass slower users on the left. Generally polite to warn them that you're going to do so. If you have a pet, you like to walk the trail with your pet should be under your control. That means leashed. And please have the courtesy to remove any pet waste along the way. And like every place else in the village, please don't litter the trails. We only want footprints or tire tracks, and we only want you to take pictures. So it's the nature of these trails that users move at different speeds. Bicycles are probably moving the quickest on the trail, and people taking pictures probably not moving at all. So with this mix of speeds, you should be careful about the following issues. For example, wheels yield to heels. Where do you come up with these? They occur to you? So trail use for parents with small children. Keep your eye on the child on the path. Be mindful that children, particularly on bikes or feet, sometimes veer into the path of oncoming traffic. Your child is cycling, make sure they're skilled enough to control the bike. A bike path is probably not the optimal place to learn to ride a bike. Post Road is a dang good place. And again, we should teach others that they need to share the trail. If you're walking on the trail, remember you're probably the slowest trail user except for that person next to you taking a picture. Everyone else will be faster and coming from behind to pass you. So try and walk towards the right side of the trail because the traffic is going to pass you on your left. Avoid walking 3 or 4 abreast. When faster traffic comes up from behind, it's also a better idea if you either move over or just walk in single file so they can get by you safely. You don't have to veer onto the other side of the trail. Be sure, again, that pets are under control on a leash at all times. So, lots of people out, lots of people on the bike path. Please be careful. Our Palos Park Police Department will be out there on their bikes as well. And what will they be wearing when they're out there? They'll be wearing their helmets, and we have free helmets for the residents of Palos Park. If you want to come in, pick up a free bike helmet. Have one for the grandkids when they come by. Ride those bikes that are stored in the garage that get in the way. Anytime, normal business hours, Palos Park Police Department will be happy to give you a helmet. Chief Miller, anything you care to add?
Just our cadets worked diligently on a bike safety video we posted. And they put it all together, edited it, and did a wonderful job. And we posted this weekend. It's on our Facebook page. It's all about bike safety.
All right. So if you're a friend of the Palos Park PD, if you're not, why aren't you? Go to the Palos Park PD Facebook page and take a look at the bike safety video put together by our talented multidisciplinary group of cadets. Anything else?
No.
That concludes my report.
Excellent, thank you. Just a reminder too, those bike helmets don't last forever. If you've had your bike helmet for 10 years, you need to replace it because if you fall, it'll break in two and you'll have severe trauma to your head. So replace those often.
Nothing lasts forever.
Thank you, Commissioner. Accounts and Finance Report, Commissioner Pavlatis is absent this evening, so we did have a public hearing, and now we are going to consider an ordinance adopting the annual budget for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2020 for the Village of Palos Park, Cook County, Illinois. The ordinance states the village is adopting a proposed budget for fiscal year 2020 in the amount of $8,687,404. So just a background history, the Village of Palos Park operates under the Budget Act as outlined in Chapter 65, Section 5/8-2-9 of the Illinois Compiled Statutes. These statutes and local ordinances require the village board to adopt the budget prior to the beginning of the fiscal year to which it applies. Our fiscal year begins on May 1st. The budget is a comprehensive financial plan which projects both anticipated revenues and proposed expenditures for all the municipal departments for the coming fiscal year, which will begin on May 1st, 2019, and it goes through April 30th, 2020, which I mentioned. The attached budget document presents the collaborative efforts of the department directors and the village staff and the elected officials, don't forget that, to produce a balanced budget which serves as the primary planning and financial tool to accomplish many village objectives and village policies. Staff recommends that the fiscal year 2020 budget produces a balanced general fund budget with a small surplus that still advances the goals and objectives of the village officials, and it is responsible to the village's residents. While other funds are projected to general deficits in the coming fiscal year, these deficits will only reduce existing fund balance reserve. Staff continues to work diligently to hold down and reduce operating costs where possible. Staff recommends adopting the fiscal year 2020 budget ordinance. Just a side comment. Perhaps maybe in the coming months, we may want to just have a financial presentation that shows growth in revenues and expenses over a 10-year period. I think that's helpful when we do that occasionally to remind the residents. I mean, when you see where our budget's been since, say, 2006, 2007, 2008, you'll see that expenditures, neither expenditures or revenues have grown that much during that time period. We're not spending a lot more money than we did 10 years ago. So it's always helpful to do that. I think it's a good exercise in helping our residents understand where the money goes and how that's changed over a significant period of time. So recommended motion, I can't move, but I would like to seek a motion to approve the adoption of the fiscal year 2020 budget ordinance at the April 22nd, 2019 Village Council meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions? Again, this is a process that probably starts in December. And virtually every staff member has involvement in this process, and certainly every elected official before it gets to this point. So hearing a motion and a second, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Milovich Walters? Commissioner Tuck?
Yep.
Mayor Maloney?
Yes. Thank you very much for all the hard work everyone put in to get this done. Thank you, Barb. Appreciate it. Oops. Now I just turned my agenda over. Only I had my computer with me. Okay. All right. Mayor's report. I had something here under all these papers. Here we go. I got it.
Oh, you little thing.
I'm in control, if you didn't notice that. Today is Earth Day. Since 1970, every year on April 22nd, trees are planted, litter is cleaned up, and awareness of nature's gifts to our planet are paid special attention. The setting of the Village of Palos Park is among the most beautiful natural surroundings in the area. We are fortunate to have residents that appreciate, respect, and take care of the environment of this town. On April 13th, the Beautification Committee's 22nd Annual Red Litter Day event took place. There were over 50 volunteers that came out and helped clear litter from different areas of the village. Thank you to the Beautification Committee for organizing and to everyone who participated in this event. We appreciate all who continue to clean up the streets and around their properties in an effort to keep Palos Park clean, green, and beautiful. And please, continue to do that all year round. I have decided to make a habit of, whenever I see garbage, I just pick it up. You know, whether I'm going to Starbucks and I see something in the parking lot, let's have a team of people. There's obviously a team of people that think they can just throw garbage in the ground. Let's be a team of people who pick garbage up and just bring it into the garbage can. I think if we do that, our streets will look clean and our neighborhood will be beautiful. I'd like to ask you to join me this Sunday, April 28th at 1 p.m. at the Capture Center as we celebrate the 27th Annual Arbor Day event. Our guest presenter is Peter Gordan, founder of Homes for Monarchs. Peter will discuss ways to help protect the monarch butterfly population. Palos Park Garden Guild 1 will serve refreshments, and free tree seedlings and milkweed seeds will be available. Did Peter create this poster for the annual?
I think he did,
He
yeah,
did.
with staff, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful job. I mean, this is a really nice poster. I'm gonna have it framed myself. You know, Peter is a senior at Stagg High School, and he has spent a great deal of time with this, working to help the monarch butterfly and make sure that it doesn't disappear. So it'll be an interesting presentation. Again, thank you for Garden Guild and for helping with this great presentation, Dan Foster, all the people that are involved. So we look forward to it. It's always a great event, always great entertainment, and you have free samplings that are available. Do we know? Okay, so milkweeds. Do we know what trees we're going to have available yet?
I do not.
It doesn't really matter. They're all great. The trees are great that we give away, I think. So, and that concludes my report. Chief Clerk. Thank you. Manager Bain.
I just got a couple things for an update. One is that the village will be updating our website next year. We're already at that point. We started 3 years ago with a new website. Staff has been managing that site and getting very familiar with making all the updates. So we're going to be looking at providing more enhancements to the website, updating the look and feel of that in the next year, and then rolling that out. So we'll be reviewing additional new modules in that website to see if we can't enhance our customer interaction with that. So I'll be reporting on that in the next few months and trying to get some feedback from everybody. But it has come up rather quickly. I thought we still had a little bit more time, but that is at hand to start really thinking about that. Also, at our next meeting on May 13th, at the council meeting, in addition to the regular agenda, we will have a swearing in for the newly elected or re-elected officials, followed by a very short reception or a reception, small reception in the lobby of the Village Hall. So those wanting to join in celebration of this event, please do. That's all.
Thank you very much. Announcements. Do I have announcements? If I do, they're under something.
I don't have anything on that I can hand you, so.
Citizens and visitors comment period. Anyone from the audience like to address the council at this time? Hearing no such requests, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this time.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all and good evening.
Take care, be safe out there, it's a little stormy.